Session des Elton Safety Shoes European Darts Grand Prix 2025. Die Halbfinals live und präsentiert von der PDC Europe hier aus dem legendären Glaspalast von Sindelfingen. Hier kommen unsere ersten beiden Halbfinalisten dieses Abends. Wir begrüßen zurück auf der Bühne aus den Niederlanden die aktuelle Nummer 31 der Welt. Er ist der Gewinner von 6 Players Championship Titeln und ein World Grand Prix und European Tour Finalist, the Titan, Dirk Duijvenbode. Er ist der Gewinner von 54 PDC-Titeln, ein ehemaliger UK Open, Premier League und World Matchplay Champion, der aktuelle European Darts Grand Prix Champion and a two-time back-to-back champion of the world. It's the Flying Scotsman,
Well, without wishing to hype things up too much, a piece of European Tour folklore could be created this evening, starting with this semi-final between the Flying Scotsman Gary Anderson, the defending champion of this tournament. It was the last time he played in the European Tour in 2024. Did enough to, metaphorically at least, light a cigar and go on the beach for the rest of the year, knowing his European Championship place was sealed. He's back looking to achieve the same. He was breathtakingly brilliant against Jan van Veen in round 2. He was great against Rob Cross, barring a 29 darter. He did just enough against Martin Lukeman this evening. Dirk van Duijvenbode, like Gary Anderson, has got an average of 110 plus to his name, the highest of the tournament against Martin Schindler earlier this afternoon. He averaged nearly a full 18 points lower than that against James Wade, but in some ways, it was even more impressive from Dirk in that contest.
Game on.
Because withstanding James Wade is certainly no easy feat. These two should suit each other with their surges of power scoring
96.
and quick play. Paul Nicholson, this could produce anything it wants, couldn't it?
This is officially the thick end of the stick.
100.
You are 2 games away from a European Tour title. And with 4 players remaining, there's only one who's done it before. And that is the defending champion. He's trying to see off
97.
Dirk van Duijvenbode here. And then, if he can do that, Woodhouse, or Gilding. We may just get that other different winner, but Gary doesn't want that.
Now, let's be honest, Gary wants to win his money on the Euro Tour as early as possible in the year, so he doesn't have to play anymore. He wants to manage his schedule. Look, Gary Anderson doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. He's one of the greatest of all time in this sport. He's kind of playing with a carefree attitude, which is dangerous.
Having said that, if he does win the tournament, it'll get him to £38,500 in ranking money for the European Championship. That will be safe. Making the final isn't enough. Another. Just a little bit of a wiggle when it hit the previous dart. So Dirk has a chance of a number on his finishing bingo card that he hasn't found this week yet. He's got it now. That is tongue plus finish in the tournament, number 6. Gary hasn't got any.
57.
But he's still in the semi-final, so you can say that he hasn't needed any. But I have a niggly feeling in my bones that Gary's back on the European Tour over the last 18 months because there's something missing. And that is being European champion. He was so close a few years back against MVG. But that, the slam, there's not many things missing from his career, but he would like to have a European championship before he finally dons the fishing lake a little bit more.
Go 17s.
131.
Could have gone 14s if he wanted to, in what would be pure littler behaviour.
Yeah, I think Gary's cut from a slightly different cloth. Now, if Dirk was going for 133, he might start on the 19s. Just left himself a little bit vulnerable here, Gary. Dirk will be hoping for a 137. He has been genuinely wrestling with that sponsor patch all tournament. He might have had enough of it now. Gary's had enough of the leg. It's 1-1. Now, coming into this game, one thing that cannot be ignored is Gary's record in this tournament. Before this match started, he knew he was going to see plenty of those. But he has played 10 games in the European Darts Grand Prix. He has won 9 of them. The only person who was beating him was Michael Smith in 2014. And that was in the last 16. Since then, when he's been in Sindelfingen,
75.
he has won.
$93.
A stickerless Dirk approaches the hockey. You may have noticed on his right sleeve, no longer there.
I'll just put it on your forehead like you did it yesterday, Dirk.
He had the same issue in Graz. He alluded to it in one of his
14.
post-match interviews with Phil Brzezinski.
Well, maybe his guns are too pulsating. And it's percussive shock that is making that sponsors patch fall to the floor. What's the biggest story here tonight, Dan? Is it Dirk winning? Is it Gary retaining? Is it Gilding or Woodhouse winning?
57.
What has the biggest ripple in the pond?
I mean, all of them have ripples in their own right. I just think Dirk finally getting over the winning line would be the story, because who knows what it could propel him to do.
We do have differing levels of experience at this stage of a European Tour event. Gary's been in multiple finals, of course. And he's looking at double 11.
113, Dirk car 89.
Close call for Dirk. First to 7 now. A little bit more breathing space. And a lovely find on that. Almost feels as good as a ton plus checkout when you take out 89 like that.
83.
Their semi-final records in Euro events like this, they're remarkably similar. You think, well, Gary's been around forever. Surely he's been in tons. But he did have a hiatus, remember.
140.
During that hiatus, did some of his best work. They've both been in 5 semi-finals. Remarkable to think that Gary's only been in 5. He's won 3. In Dirk's 5, he's won 2. And subsequently, he has lost both finals.
57. $140.
This looks a lot better than the quarter-final. He just had to get through that, didn't he, against Lukman? It was an attritional, workman-like game. But when you get through a game like that, it renews the energy a little bit. You get rid of some relief.
180.
But you're going to need more energy against Dirk if he's doing things like that. He's now got 3 180s.
20 in the event. And that 180, with Gary Anderson not taking out 141, affords him a chance at 124. Well, he's hit 6 ton plus checkouts already. Won't make it 7 here.
73, Gary car 8.
Double 4, and we are level after 4. May the 4s be with you. I wonder if that's a sign that this tournament's going to be won on double 4.
100.
Dirk's ton plus finishing in this tournament has seen a smattering of the low ton plus checkouts.
100.
And the one other finish that he's had was the biggest of the lot, the 170. These guys are very familiar with each other. Whenever they play each other, it reminds me of the game they had at the Worlds in 2021. Going into that match, Dirk was starting to churn in his career. People were starting to get invested in Brand van Duijvenbode. But when he played Gary in that World Championship, he lost convincingly because he saw that as
42.
Probably the biggest game of his life at the time against a hero. And Gary was able to usurp that.
First stage meeting between these two was very significant. It was at the Grand Prix in 2020, the tournament that really launched Dirk into the wider darting consciousness, where he got to that final in COVID times, of course, losing to Price. Since then, he's always been there or thereabouts around the majors.
It's going to sting a bit. He's expecting to get a shot at the ball.
89.
As you would an 85. This is a new side to Dirk. This recomposure. If he's not comfortable, he steps off.
Lovely dart, double top. Double 10.
65.
And maybe the pattern of holds of throw will be broken.
Very well measured.
Gary Anderson.
Earlier today, Gary was not having a great time of it on the doubles, so he changed the plan to double 16. Isn't it nice when you can count on another primary double as a target? some people stick with tops and 10s and 12s, and they never change. But the one thing that's changed with Gary is he's brought double 16 into play a little bit more. It has helped him.
Yeah, you go back to his World Championship winning campaigns against Phil Taylor and Adrian Lewis. He was very reluctant to use that southwest section of the board. He was always a tops 10s and 12s man, even though he doesn't like double 10. He had to go for it owing to his liking for tops.
Yeah, the lie of his dart has changed naturally over the years. Look at it when it hits the board here. Especially the first dart. It tends to wiggle left, which means it's not going in ideally straight like Dirk's do. So he's got to use how his darts sit naturally.
44.
By using double 16, if he misses outside, he's got a marker. There it happens again. It does a little nod to the left. It hits the board and it shakes. The way he plays the game, he'll acknowledge that and try and use it to his advantage.
100.
That's a superb switch. That's basically saying, I can't hit a 140 from that spot. I'll just get it little. Get it down to about 50. And give myself the option of tops or double 16, depending on how I feel.
119, Gary Carr, 48.
Right now, this is not the Dirk van Duijvenbode we saw face Michael van Gerwen and Martin Schindler.
32.
See how disappointed he is at missing that double 16. He thought that second dart was a perfect marker just to slide it in.
96.
But because of that lie, double 8 can be a friend as well.
Games on the sixth leg, Gary Anderson.
Gary may never lose in the Sindelfingen glass ballast ever again.
Seventh leg, it's Dirk to throw first.
It's already been 11 years since he lost here. I think Dirk is having a word with Franz about where he's standing. And he wants him to stand in a position that is not blocking the scoreboard. That's a new one on me.
Well, he might not be able to see the scoreboard, but he can see German eye candy.
The man with the Gordon Ramsay haircut.
140.
I think that's a new one on Gary as well, and he's been around for about 3 decades in this sport. It does happen now and again, I won't lie, that if your marker is on the left-hand side, you can see that scoreboard a little bit easier because there's no referee
57.
on that side. Obviously, Dirk doesn't want to have to step off if he can't see the sheet.
135.
Well, we call it the sheet because it used to be paper, now it's a whiteboard.
Yeah, these two have tested our France today, haven't they? Dirk with his little word saying essentially, get out of my way. And Gary earlier on with his 9 scored last start doesn't count.
Well, ever since that moment, Dirk's gone a little bit bananas. They're testing his vocal cords now, but it could be 5-2. Double 8 again.
38.
That
Dirk
could
Ball,
change the
43.
game. It could have been a double break for the Flying Scotsman. That first shot of 32 was poor.
8.
The second dart was closer, but it was always going to be more difficult because of the first one. And Gary swallows up leg 7.
8th leg, it's Gary to go first.
This is what we've seen so far. Gary getting a shot in every leg,
57.
bar leg 1. So by token of that,
96.
He's had shots in legs more than Dirk, so him leading is very fair.
99.
There is nothing sweeter than a repeater. And Peter Wright is out.
58.
That was probably good news for Gary Anderson. From an experience point of view, I'm not sure how the quarters could have gone better for Gary.
140.
Wade gone. Wright gone. Smith gone.
140.
If things had have gone differently, we could have had a very old school Premier League semi-final lineup. Wright v. Anderson v. Wade, Wright v. Smith.
No one from the Premier League was in the quarterfinals. Oh, how things can change. The first few events were all won by Premier League players, and then Martin Schindler wrecks that.
57. Gary Carr.
And the next
40.
thing you know, this is going to be won by a non-Premier League player as well. Is that name going to be Gary Anderson?
Gary Anderson. Ninth leg, it's Dirk to go first.
This has been a brilliant performance. 105 the average. The first 9, 11 better than that. And the doubles are good enough.
180.
Well, Dirk has been toiling away for years now, desperately trying to get this all-important first European Tour win. It is looking like the wait will have to go on. Not through poor play from Dirk, because he has given us some entertainment this weekend.
58.
Look how disappointed he is.
76.
With just a one treble visit there. Sense he wants to get rid of this game before Dirk finds the kind of splash that he did in the previous game with Wade.
134.
4 legs in a row he had, with a total of 50 darts. And if he was to do something like that right now, we'd get to 6-6. Maybe.
85. Dirk Carr 129.
He needs a stint of massive finishing and scoring.
59. Gary Carr 160.
Match point Anderson. That's interesting.
120. Dirk Carr 70.
Well, this is now to save the match, to start the charge, if indeed there is one. And because that
54.
misses,
Gary Carr
the defence
40.
could continue.
Game.
It could be 2 in a row for Gary Anderson at the Glass Palace. Dirk van Duijvenbode, despondent in defeat. He nods his head. He realises that Gary Anderson was the deserved winner. Another top plus average around the 106 mark from the Flying Scotsman. An opportunity missed, you feel, for van Duijvenbode to end his duck on the European Tour. Anderson has one more assignment left. It will either be Andrew Gilding or Luke Woodhouse he faces in the final.